Episode 8, Drink While You Think.
Awesome.
We're on a roll. We're on a roll here in 2019 now. Or actually, maybe now we're in February. We're off to a slow start. Kind of a special Drink While You Think. And what we're drinking here. Matthew already started his. You can see it. It's called the Master Crane. Maybe backwards in your screen. I don't know.
No, it's good.
You're good?
I can see it though. It's good for me. I don't know if it's backwards.
We got these. We went out. We took our wives out to dinner this past weekend and went to a great restaurant, Staple House. And as actually parting gifts, they give you booze on the way out. So this is the Master Crane. What's it got in here, Matthew? It's got. I want to open mine while you read the ingredients.
Rye whiskey, allspice dram, and Luxardo Bianco. It has a little spicy kick to it. I like it. I like that part of it for sure.
I know you're not a brown liquor guy.
I'm not a brown liquor guy, so I'm going with the flow here.
I am, so I'm pretty excited about this.
You'll see when you taste it. You're like, oh, I can taste the allspice, and Matthew's gonna like the allspice part of this.
Okay.
You'll know when you taste it. Kenji has a pretty good sense for my taste buds. But yeah, I mean, it's always fun. You know, the Giving Kitchen's such a cool charity that you can probably tell more people about.
Yeah, background on that. The restaurant we went to is awesome. Not only is it was the Bon Appetit, like new restaurant of the year, it's a nonprofit. All of the profits from the restaurant that we ate at Staple House go to the Giving Kitchen. And the Giving Kitchen basically gives it out and serves hospitality workers who are in need. That's a tough industry to work in just because you have a medical issue, maybe you have a family emergency, you can't come in and work your shift, you can't generate income. So it's been a nonprofit I've been involved with now for a number of years. It's been a ton of fun to help get the restaurant built. Our family, we love to kind of go out and eat. There's a lot of people behind the scenes in these restaurants that go and do a lot of hard work for a bunch of knuckleheads like us who like to go out and eat. So it's a nice way to really give back. So check out the Giving Kitchen. I was going to ask about nonprofits. That's one I've been real passionate about the past few years. What's a recent nonprofit that's been near and dear to your heart?
Well, the one before it was popular, I guess, for the last 8 years, Laura and I have both been really involved with the refugee program in Georgia specifically. So for those who don't know, my wife is a professor at Georgia State, and her specialty is second language learning. So one of the high schools in Atlanta, or just outside of Atlanta, has had kids that have spoken 150 different languages and dialects come through their halls through the actual refugee program, which is a very different program than people are talking about right now. With the refugees, like a 7-year process to get refugee status from the United Nations, and then they relocate them all over the world, not just to the United States. But that one's been a big one. We work with one called New American Pathways. I was on the board for 7 years, I think. But we continue to support them. And Laura has some programs that she works with them on around mostly around kids. So most of our stuff in our family, is around kids and literature and reading. So
that's cool. Also, we kind of changed up venues here a little bit. We thought like Matthew kind of back porch drinking, me in my den, kind of with a little bit of brown liquor seemed like the right kind of vibe. Have you ever, by the way, random thought, seen the guy Nick Offerman? You know who Nick Offerman is?
No.
He's an actor. He's on Parks and Rec, but he does a series. It's pretty funny. He does a series to where he'll just sit for an entire hour and just drink scotch. And people come and watch him and look at it. It's hilarious. I don't know why it's funny, but it is.
Is this like the kids like opening toys? That's pretty bad.
Maybe. I think it's cooler. I could sit there in a chair like this, like Nick Offerman, and drink scotch. All right, we'll get on to
On that note, I'm switching to the accounting stuff because I know you did this, and I'm asking for myself and everybody else. What was Rich's update from Intuit about this live bookkeeping thing that social media is all a buzz about?
Yeah, so we had we talked last week about this and the announcement about QuickBooks Live, and so today I attended the webinar with Joe Woodard, who runs Scaling New Heights. He had a webinar. This is the third one. He's got kind of a town hall meeting. Third one he's had. There were, I think, 1,200 people in it. They had to close the webinar. It maxed out. Wow. People are interested for sure. Accountants are interested. And it was interesting because Rick Steve, who's the head of, basically leads U.S. for Intuit, came out and really talked about, just wanted to be there, part of the community, and talk more about what's happening with QuickBooks Live and all this. So there's a whole bunch of things. I'd actually recommend, I think Joe's going to do a blog post on it. Kathy Iconis did a nice one too. There's a lot of content, but I guess my two takeaways were, one, they are planning, as they're saying, to staff this with kind of the pro advisor community.
They are.
Yeah, their plans and intents are to say, listen, we're trying to make more opportunities for the pro advisors out there. So I thought that was interesting. The second one, and this came up out of some questions. I was waiting to see if he'd go there, but the question came around like, listen, this was a big surprise to a lot of us in the community who are your partners. Like what? And again, you mentioned this last week when we talked. What was that all about? That caused some challenges. And I've never met Rich before. I give him credit. He said, that was my personal mistake. Like he took absolute ownership for it and said, we run probably hundreds of different tests every year inside of Intuit. And part of doing tests is you got to be sometimes anonymous to make the test valid. Like you don't let people know there's a test. He's like, he said, I didn't consider the impact this might have on our partner community. So I'm very sorry about that. I look back at that and that was not the right way to do it. So I don't know, to me that we've had some challenges with Intuit over time. I think other people were pretty upset about this. Maybe they're in a little bit of damage control, but I tend to have a respect for people who come out and be like, yeah, that's my mistake. I mean, you and I, we practically run our whole organization based on the mistakes you and I make. So maybe we're a little more forgiving about that. But I thought it was, those were two of my takeaways. I thought at least they came back and owned some of it. They didn't, they could have said, oh no, we planned on it this way, but he owned it. And then also said, listen, we are trying to make this something advantageous for the advisor community. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But there'll be more stuff coming on that one, I'm sure. It's interesting.
That's cool.
Getting off the accounting thing, I have something exciting to show you. Got a little bit of show and tell.
Okay.
Are you ready? You want to see something exciting?
I'm waiting with bated breath.
You will be excited. This just arrived in the mail today.
Oh, is this your Atlanta United tickets?
Do a little unboxing for you.
Oh, yeah.
Look how cool this thing is. It's like opening up a new MacBook or something.
We've got a big game tonight. It's a big match tonight, too.
Look at this thing. This thing's crazy. I mean, this is how you're.
This is how Atlanta United is taking the
lights on the side of it when you open it to the
wow.
ticket box. And they've got some, there's a couple keychains. My son already stole one of them. There's a license plate cover thing. There's a bunch of cool stuff. Look at that.
That's
How
pretty.
exciting is that, dude?
That is. They made way too much money last year. That means.
Yeah, they did. Arthur Blank did very well with that. But we're excited about at least us in Atlanta, excited about our soccer team. We have a lot of fun with it. It's something that we do. Our employees and families love going to those matches. So we have tickets available for our team members. So
if you're fast enough on the Google Doc.
There's a Google sheet that's highly competitive. I'm getting on there so I got to get that Google sheet ready because people will especially be, after we won the championship last year, really be on it this year. So.
We have a one match per employee rule. We learned that early.
Yeah. Otherwise, certain people stalk that Google Doc and just wait for me to update it. So back kind of the community. It's been kind of an interesting week on social. You mentioned earlier too about social media. Lots of things happening on social media. The QuickBooks Live. There've been a number of other things on social media. I won't get into all of them because some of them were a little interesting. I think people can go out there and look through the community and probably see things out there. But I just think broader about social, about when, communicating over social and social media. You and I talked about it with kids, our teenagers, but like, what's your take on how do you use social media? Like, what's your use case for social media? And I don't care whether it's Twitter or Instagram or whatever it might be. Like, how do you approach social media?
Facebook is to send pictures of my kids to my mom, LinkedIn and Twitter is to communicate kind of information out to our customers and people in our networks. Man, I haven't used it as this place to get what I want. It seems like, or to complain. I'm wary of that. I'm much more of a, just if you have a problem, try to fix it and not complain for complaint's sake. I don't know if that's where you're headed, but that's part of my concern with social media is the presumption of complainers that people are trying to do things to hurt them. Like you said with Intuit, like my presumption was not that they're trying to ruin all the accountants' lives in the planet. That would be silly. Like there's probably a competent person there making these decisions. So I don't know. That's probably a boring answer. How about you?
No, I think it's a good answer. I think I guess I thought about it, I think that how I use social media, I was looking back even like a lot of my posts, they tend to be pretty fun and lighthearted, when I post. I try to be, supporting somebody, it's usually, comes from me. My personality is pretty non-confrontational, sometimes to a fault, but I just think that it's tough. I think, we need to speak truth and people need to be honest and truthful, but I think having, a deep, sometimes a hard conversation, I just don't know that social is the best place for it. It's just not it's a tough place to do it without it coming off the wrong way. And I'm not, please don't hear me blaming anybody out there, because I think it's important actually when someone sees something that is wrong to step up and stand up for it. But, I think it's tough sometimes to be able to have those conversations over a medium like that where, golly, we're very civil in our accounting community for the most part. But I think you and I come from a perspective where we see things like in the teenage landscape in a high school where things can get really, really pretty challenging there. So I don't know. It's a medium that I'm very wary of. We try to use it wisely. It's tough, but
I think everybody would be better served if they were considering what outcome they wanted to drive, with their interactions, and to consider if that behavior, was leading towards that outcome.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's not like some of the prominent leaders of our day are following that mantra. So it's kind of hard when you see people being rewarded for as much.
You're losing their prominent leaders of the day. That's a great point. I mean, where it comes right.
Well, I mean, you take it from Elon Musk to Trump to whoever you want. Like the more shocking you can be, the more you're rewarded in that platform. And shocking doesn't necessarily lead to progress, unfortunately.
That's well said. I think it's
for the rest of us.
I was going to say too that, maybe it's, I just had a birthday recently and I feel like it's one of those later stage birthdays where you kind of, man, I'm getting older. Maybe it's me just getting older, but yeah.
I don't know. Congratulations for your.
Trump's a lot older than me and he acts crazier than I,
Yeah. Yeah. Congratulations, by the way, on your AARP membership. That was awesome that you're old enough to be an AARP member.
So unhappy that you mentioned that. It is the truth. We speak truth in this.
We speak truth. I'm not making this up.
I thought that was like when you turn 50. I'm not 50 yet. I turned 46. AARP card at 46.
Dude, take the discount and run. I'm taking it in a couple of years because Kenji's so much older than me.
I think it's bullshit. Anyway. So, let's see, a few more here. Other thing kind of going on I noticed in the industry this week is I've had a couple of people reach out starting new peer groups kind of within the industry. You and I are involved in kind of peer groups, some industry based, some just kind of more entrepreneurial based. How do you view the peer groups? How do you use them? What's your way that you use, I guess, the peer groups that you're in?
Well, I'm not as active as you in them, but I have one peer group. It's a group of 6 CEOs, and candidly, I use it as personally, it's almost a replacement for therapy for me, for all the things that come with running a business. I'm not joking. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely therapeutic for me. I'll internalize things otherwise. So having a small group, and this is it's Entrepreneurs Organization, EO, but it has a specific program with a pretty strict confidentiality guidelines around it. So it is a place where I had previously used a group at one of my churches kind of as an outlet for this and for me personally, but having these discussions, it's the closest thing you can do to group therapy, I think. that's out there.
Yeah.
So that helps me.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I think people use it in a lot of ways. And I think different ones, I do better in close, very confidential groups rather than, you tend to be able to handle groups that meet less frequently that may or may not be confidential. You seem comfortable in that more than me, probably. So
Yeah. Well, I think I'm a big advocate for peer groups and small groups. It's a model that's always worked for me. I don't know that it works for everybody, but I do think it probably works for most people. I agree with you. I think it's when it's smaller, more intimate like that, and you got a sense of trust, it can be pretty productive. Like if you want to think of it, group therapy, and I know you and I have been involved in EO, the Entrepreneurs Organization, for quite a while. It's been very important to us personally. I think it's been good for us in our business. I remember you telling me when you joined it, you're like, I don't know why someone who does not especially have a co-founder wouldn't do something like this. I mean, you and I are really lucky that we get to bounce ideas off each other at that kind of founder level and things. But, if you're by yourself, man, having some, oh cow, that is really helpful to have that.
Yeah, I've had that discussion with my dad. My dad was alone running his business for the first 25 years before my brother went back. And man, he's just like, man, it's just tough being by yourself sometimes. If he had been in a bigger city, he might have had something like EO or something that he could have leveraged. But he was kind of in a smaller city, about 1 million people, but he didn't have anything like this. And funniest thing, when I was deciding whether or not to do to join you, to come over to Acuity, I thought he was going to say, you're going to want control and all that, but he went the other way. He said, like, it's going to be so helpful to have a partner that you trust, that you can bounce ideas off of, because I never had that until your brother came here. So, and that was 25 years he was on an island.
Yeah. He comes from experience he's gotten that, from what it was like to be without, and then to have, your brother there. I think it's something that we've got. I was really encouraged to hear about a couple of these new groups kind of spinning up in our accounting community, because I think we look at it, it's a very, very fragmented community where so many of us, I think there are a lot of firm owners who are out by themselves. And so being in a peer group, small group, you're right. I love these. So I'm in a few of them. A couple of the recent ones I've had to I was so bummed. I'm like, I can't do it. I want to so bad be part of this group. I'm I'm already doing enough of them right now, and I'm having to balance my time, but I'm just a big fan of them. I'm glad to see there's more of them kind of spinning up like that. I'm also glad, a little plug for the folks over at Zero. I've been a 0 hours host in Atlanta for a while, and the goal has been to kind of create some communities like that. Those are a bit more open kind of communities versus some of the smaller, more intimate ones that I think some folks out there are pulling together that look really, really solid. But they're moving now, Zero is moving now to a virtual model, which I think will be kind of cool to see. I've experimented with a couple of virtual peer groups as well, to where you're not having to fight traffic and leave the office or wherever. You can just kind of jump online and do it just like we're doing right here over video. So
yeah, I think it's crazy, because even though you were the one doing it, like if you take somebody like Tate, right? Like I trust Tate implicitly because he's consistently been in these groups with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, it's really interesting, like after even some of these loose groups, like 0 hour or anything like that, you see the same people 4, 5, 6 times, you get to know them.
Yeah.
There's a trust established that's beyond that. I mean, I feel like that even with the people that come to ZeroCon every year, the people that come to QB Connect every year, we kind of connect with the same people every year, and that's once a year.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting from a practitioner perspective, at least with our colleagues in the accounting space. Those are really interesting relationships. I'm glad we have those events to go to see each other every once a year. I think that's why people go back a lot of times. I know, especially ZeroCon, it feels really strongly that way for me. It's like I'm really excited to go back to see the people, to see our peers, to see.
I know. This will be the first. I'm missing this year for the first time.
San Diego fail.
Oh, I know it. I'm missing this year, but doing a really, really cool trip with my son. 2 weeks hiking with him. That's just something you can't pass up as a dad moment, spending time with your kids, especially doing something like that. But anyway, going to be bummed to miss out on a bunch of our ZeroCon friends. By the way, this drink is, for me, very, very tasty. Very much like, I love the brown liquor. I love it. It tastes like Christmas, kind of, that allspice kind of.
I'm telling you, the allspice got me. So that's awesome.
It's solid. The old Staple House folks. Don't sleep on them, by the way. There's some cool news coming out about them.
Cool.
Yeah, I can't give it all away in the coming few weeks here, so I'll tease that a little bit. Last one I got for you. Totally non-accounting related.
Non-accounting related.
Did you watch any of the Duke Carolina basketball game last night?
I did not, but I saw the most important thing in replay.
Yes, I was going to ask about that.
So evidently at the 33-second mark, the top college player in history, no, this year, not in history, sorry. The top college player goes to make a little cut, and he literally goes through his shoe and ruins his knee. And now all the NBA players are like NCAA is terrible. This guy should be in the pros making money. It's terrible. Nike's doing damage control, going, oh my gosh, we got a multi-million-dollar lawsuit from the top college player. His foot went through his sneaker. I've watched it. It's awesome. Were you watching it live?
I was watching it live. You see the Nike stock took a 1.5% hit.
Yeah, immediately. And then the best thing is, like, President Obama is right there, and he's like, he went through his shoe. And so that's all over social media.
Right there behind Krzyzewski.
Everybody knew immediately what happened.
That game's always a little tough for me because growing up in the ACC, those were our two big rivals. When my team, when I was in school, actually could compete well against Duke and Carolina. But that's just a good rivalry to watch. So there's times to me like, oh, I hate these two teams, but it's good to watch. I mean, to me, that's like the old school genesis of like, that's college basketball. There's not enough of that anymore. But I mean, watching Zion like bust out of his shoe in the first minute. And
33 seconds, dude. 33-second mark.
Yeah. Nike stock takes a hit. That game changed entirely. Carolina just went off. Duke looked a little bit, they were looking a little lost after that. But crazy.
College basketball.
Anyway. Well, good solid drink while you think here. Glad we're back. I did a better job of you. Look at you. You still got a little ways to go. If this were college days, I'd make you pound that, but we're older and wiser than that, I think, sometimes.
Yeah. Only one of us is an AARP member though now.
Dude, you're gonna kill me on that one.
I'm gonna kill you on that one for a long time.
There's gonna be a lot of hashtags, I'm sure, coming out on this one, like AARP, copy. Yeah, I don't even. Thanks for that. Appreciate.
That's what the kids do. Hashtag.
Do? Yeah, the kids do. The non-AARP members.
Yeah, I'm hip, dude.
Not so much. All right, for next time, back for this is number 8. We'll get on a roll here again. Hopefully, we have some more exciting things, interesting things to talk about in number 9.
Yeah, and there's no way these things are going to be like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Like, there's no way we're doing like the 5-minute thing. So, whoever said that, Kenji, was crazy.
I know, this is crazy. We've actually had.
We're no longer aiming for 5 minutes, people.
We've had a few of our friends already who are like, "Listen, I felt like I was hanging out, drinking, talking to some of my friends." I'm like, "Well, next time, let's just get you on here and let's just actually do this as a round table and have drinks." It'll be like,
and anybody that wants to do this with us, we'll do this a round table.
Let us know. What the ESPN show? Is it Around the Horn?
Around the Horn.
Around the Horn. Accounting nerds around the horn. So, cheers, brother. Until next time.
We'll see you.